Good morning, Destiny players, and welcome to a new build video. A build I've covered previously, 3 times actually, I think, if I remember correctly. But nerfs directed at Banner of War severely hurt this build, but did nothing to Banner of War, so I had to rebuild this one from the ground up to make it work. I am Bladeburger, your local lady in your head who calls you Stun Muffin, and make sure to do what the algorithm likes, as well as checking out memberships. I do have them. You should take a part in it. Aha! Let's get into the video. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I love Shinobu's Vow despite its low power in the current sandbox. It's just very fun, and fun is the most important factor in builds, to me at least. The issue with Season of the Wish is that a lot of mods that made the previous version of this build work got nerfed to try and bring down the power level of higher power builds. But really all it did was hurt the lower power builds like this one and leave the higher power builds unscathed. Despite this, I made this build to counter those nerfs with an exotic weapon I've been a fan of for quite a while, the Traveler's Chosen. Let's go over the exotics. The Shinobu's Vow exotic Gauntlets for Hunter gives an additional skip grenade charge, adds an additional projectile hit, makes them track more aggressively, and allows damage dealt with skip grenades to give energy back. 4.2 energy back per damage tick, which could be up to 12% per skip projectile, a lot of energy, which can overcap similar to Omnioculus, the exotic I covered last week. The other exotic to make this build better and add redundancy is the Traveler's Chosen exotic Sidearm. Kills give stacks of Gathering Light, which buffs stats on this weapon. You can hold reload to consume them and gain 10% energy per stack for your non-super abilities. Its Catalyst gives Osmosis and Surplus. These two in combination make a lethal skip grenade build on its own, but we can do better with it. Let's get into the class stuff. For class, we are on Arc Hunter. Choose your super as it doesn't matter. You're choosing Gathering Storm though, roaming supers that aren't strand or kinda doo-doo. For dodge, Marksman's Dodge. Dodge to reload your weapon. It also has a quicker cooldown versus the other dodge. For grenade, skip grenades obviously. For aspects, Tempest Strike, which doesn't matter that much. When sliding, use your powered melee to uppercut, jolting enemies in front of it. We also have Flow State. Killing jolted enemies makes you amplified, which gives better handling and a speed booster when sprinting for a bit. When amplified, we get better dodge cooldown, damage resist when dodging, and reload speed. For fragments, Spark of Focus. Sprinting makes our dodge cooldown faster. Spark of Amplitude. Multi-kills while amplified makes an overpower. Spark of Shock. Arc grenades jolt enemies. Spark of Ions. Killing an enemy who is jolted makes an Ionic Trace with a 10-second cooldown. So there's all the class stuff, now let's get to stats and other weapons. For stats, prioritize mobility. We have mods that rely on our class ability and higher mobility helps our cooldown. Putting stats into discipline also helps but aren't needed, as we have ways to get grenade energy back through other means. For other weapons, use what you want but prefer arc weapons like Forbearance. Now let's get to the mods. This build is class ability and energy based. It leverages mods to help get our class ability back through grenades and uses mods that trigger on class ability usage for grenade synergy. Let's get into it. On helmet, double ashes to assets, giving us bonus super energy on grenade kills. We also have Harmonic Siphon, where double kills with weapons matching our subclass type make an overpower. Traveler's Chosen has Osmosis, so we can trigger this mod after a grenade is thrown. On arms, double bolstering detonation, where grenade damage gives 17% class ability energy on hit. 7-second cooldown between energy gains. We also have Firepower, where we make an overpower on grenade kills with a terrible 10-second cooldown. It needs to be reverted. On chest piece, all flex slots. Chest piece is pretty useless. On boots, double innervation, where overpower pickups give 13% grenade energy with 2 mods. We also have Elemental Charge, where class collectibles like Ionic Traces have a chance to give an armor charge. It's a meter, and Ionic Traces give 34% out of 100% needed to gain an armor charge, so 3 traces are needed. On class item, Double Bomber, giving grenade energy upon using our class ability. 17% for 2 mods. We also have Utility Kickstart. When we have armor charges, by default Arganon or pickup, consume them all when using your class ability to gain energy back, up to 34% at 3 armor charges if I'm reading Light GG right, it's a bit confusing. So there's the mods, and here's the overview. Look it over, subscribe to my second channel, tell me how I'm wrong in the comments, and much more. Now, let's get at how this build plays. This build has a pretty simple loop. Throw a grenade, dodge, throw a grenade, dodge. This build is a bit weird, however. Either you can actually be able to go all in on skip grenades and throw one every few seconds, or you will need Traveler's Chosen to get back everything. In activities like Coil, Savathun Spire, or any high ad density activities, it is really easy to get the loop going and not really need Traveler's Chosen. It's more just for redundancy. In most other activities with lower ad density, it's hard to get the loop going, which is why we have Traveler's Chosen. This isn't the skip grenade build of old from Season of the Seraph, where you could easily throw infinite skips. This one received 2 huge nerfs. The first was the actual mod Overhaul and Lightfall, which hit every build across the game, except for the higher tier ones. The second was the recent nerfs to mods with Season of the Wish, hurting mods like Bolster and Detonation, Firepower, and more. I hope they buff Shinobu's Vow while keeping its identity to make it a contender against others in the wider game. In places where this build shines, it does well. Throwing a ton of grenades is really enjoyable, and clearing packs of enemies is satisfying to watch. It doesn't have the raw power of Banner of War or Polaris Lance builds, but when an Arc season comes again, it'll be sure to rise back up and be a powerhouse again. If you like the build, let me know in the comments below. If you have any suggestions for builds to make, also let me know. See you all on the next one. Blade Burger out.